Our next featured musical, A Man of No Importance, was written by Lynn, Ahrens, Flaherty, and Terrence McNally. They're awesome. It ran at the Mitzi Newhouse at Lincoln Center for less than 3 months in 2002. Now, the show is about Alfie, a modest middle-aged Dublin bus conductor in the 1960s who was in love with 1, the theater, 2, the poetry and plays of Oscar Wilde, and 3, his own handsome bus driver, a quite straight young chap named Robbie.
McNally, Ahrens, and Flaherty have loved working together on Ragtime, a show which won Tony Awards for all 3 of them, as you can see. They knew that they wanted to work together again. Then one night, Terrence McNally was in the Blockbuster video store at Broadway and 9th Street, remember that store? And he saw Albert Finney on the cover of a movie called A Man of No Importance. He took it home on a whim and fell in love with it. And the next day, he called Lynn and Stephen.
The show had an extremely interesting reception from critics. The tone of the show divided people completely. In Variety, Isherwood said, "Most musicals don't aim for the virtue of modesty, so there's something touching about the unabashedly minor key, A Man of No Importance. It has gentle-hearted charms." Similarly, the Post said, "Musicals don't have to be huge. There's a place for the intimate story in which a character comes to see something about himself and life."
Linda Weiner in Newsday gave the show an all-out rave, noting that A Man of No Importance slipped in underneath the seasonal hype to kill us softly, which is like a great line from a review and also kind of like a song lyric. This is a major musical in everything except pretension. But then John Lahr in The New Yorker said, "Modesty in a musical is about as welcome as primness in a whore." Ben Brantley praised the music but said essentially the same, so half the critics hated the same thing about the show that the other half loved. So in the words of Terrence McNally, "I love writing and I love rehearsing and I hate everything else about the theater." I think that's a great quote.
This is absolutely one of my favorite scores. Probably the favorite score of a show that I never actually got to see, and I'm kicking myself. But I discovered it when I bought like a 2-pack from Amazon. It was like, I saw that Malcolm Getz was in this new show, and I was like, ooh, a more cast recording. So I bought that, and it was like, if you like this, people also bought A Man of No Importance. And so I bought both of them, just on a whim. And I absolutely fell in love with this one. I love them more as well, but this one, it just struck a chord. And so years later, I ended up writing to Lynn Ahrens to see if I could get some sheet music, and she wrote me this lovely letter back, and saying that she didn't have it. But yeah, so this show holds a really dear place in my heart, and I'm so excited that we get to feature this tonight.
I also fell in love with the cast recording. I don't think I bought it with a more, but something similar. It's a musical about a small community of lonely individuals in conservative 1960s Dublin that band together to create theater when nobody else wants them to. From Adele Rice, the unwed pregnant girl playing Salome, to Sully O'Hara, an unemployed man who joined up to occupy his desolate days, the group is determined to put on a play. We happen to know a wonderful actress who landed A Man of No Importance as her first show in New York. She understudied several of the roles. That is her headshot at the time, if you can see it. Here to share some memories and a song from Man of No Importance, Michelle Federer.
And now you see me old. So they wanted me to tell a little story. I have a sweet story and I have a sour story. My sweet story is when I first moved to New York, I did a series of play readings with a playwright named Julia Jordan, and there was this guy who played my lover and I played his retarded sister in one of these readings, and that was Norbert Leo Potts. And I was, really, really struck by his acting ability. We had a mutual friend. This friend called me up and said, Norbert's going on for Rent, because he was understudying Adam Pascal at the time. So he said, do you want to go? And I happened to live like 4 blocks away. So I said, yes. And I'd never seen Rent, and I was so excited. And it was a free ticket, and I was totally poor, so I went. And he started singing, and I was like, what? What? I couldn't speak, But I knew him. So had to meet him afterwards with my friend, and he was like, hey, how are you? You want to go get a burger? And I said, no. And I ran away. And then, so cut to many years later, and I am doing A Man of No Importance, and it's my first, it's my first musical since college, so I'm freaking out. And it's like a big deal. And I'm sitting there and we're going through the score, and it says Norbert in the score because they had a workshop and they didn't have character names, and apparently Norbert had done this workshop, so they just put Norbert down. So I was like, huh, like just some, like a little and off in my head. Then the director of A Man of No Importance was Joe Mantello, and he said, you know what, we're doing this musical called Wicked, and you should audition for it. And I was like, oh, okay. So my second musical theater audition, I go, and 4 auditions later, I get cast in Wicked. And my agent calls and says, you're not going to believe it. It's Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth and Joel Grey, Carol Shelley, and Norbert Leo Butz. And I was like, what? Norbert Leo Butz? Nobody else mattered. Norbert Leo Butz. I have arrived. This is what I'm thinking. So it's first day of rehearsal, and I said hello to everyone, and I said, Norbert, yeah, I don't think you'll remember me, but I played Tepper Dartmouth's sister. And I was like, I kind of do remember you. And I was like, okay, great. Meanwhile, that was 9 years ago, and we are now married. Yes, and have a daughter named Georgia. Thank you. My sweet story. Here is my sour story. I was, when Jennifer called and asked me if I wanted to do this, I was like, oh, A Man of No Importance. I remember that. And I was on the train, I live in New Jersey, and I was on the train, and I was coming in, and I was looking through the playbill, and it's a long train ride, so I'm getting to the point where you read about the chairman's circle for $100,000 and the director's circle, because this was the only reading material I had. And so I get to the producer's circle for $25,000 and up, and who do we have but Ruth and Bernard Madoff. Thank you! Good night. That's all. And I'd like to stop now, but we're going to have to sing. Okay. This is Princess, which is Sally Murphy played the role of Adele, and the Alfie, played by Roger Rees, asks her to be in this community theater production of Salome, which they pronounce Salome. And she's from a very small town, and he's like, what are you talking about? So this is her response to being asked to be in a play. seems like Roscommon raised a prayer.